morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. As usual, I've been a long-time speaker at South Summit, a big supporter of the event. So I know we could all do this in Spanish, but we decided to, keep it international. For the one of you who can't actually speak or understand, it's a pleasure to talk about that particular topic today, and to have that great panel of people who are going to tell you more about what needs to be, changing in our future. I've been a long time driver of electric vehicles, first motorbikes, now cars. We know that there's no topic anymore about climate change and why we should be careful about CO2 emissions, because it's actually impacting the world we live in today and the future for our kids. The big thing is when you look at the major industries that actually produce CO2, transportation is one of the major ones. 25% of CO2 emissions a year come from transportation, and we know that a big chunk of this is day-to-day on the ground. So this day-to-day on the ground driving, cars, motorbikes, trucks, needs a change. And we all have noticed that, EV is probably one of the major directions. Antonio, can you tell us a little more of how you see that market going, and to you, what are the sort of major trends and therefore opportunities?
For sure. Thanks, Ben. A little introduction about who I am and what are we doing. I'm founder and CEO of Muva, which is a technology company that delivers and also licenses the technology. And we are much more focused on the algorithm way of solving the issue, which is we need to deliver adding the less amount of vehicles to the streets. We need to do that because we can help by using electric vehicles, bicycles, motorbikes, but at the end of the day, we need to do this with less vehicles. Maybe I will explain something about this afterwards. On your direct question, electric vehicles is the tendency, but it's very hard to implement. Maybe we can discuss some challenges afterwards also.
Okay, thank you very much. Victor, you are on the other end, right? You tell us more about what you do at V2C, but you are on the infrastructure end. What do you see, as opportunities, and what is your world in the EV transformation?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the invitation. I am Victor Sanchez. I am the co-founder and CEO of V2C. We are a Spanish company that we manufacture and we do amazing charging points. We stay in Valencia, in Chirivella, and we manufacture charging points for home, for street, for outside, for companies. And okay, I think the future mobility will be electric mobility, but this is not a simple change. Sometimes we think that to change the petrol cars to electric cars is not easy, but I think we are in the good way. And electric charging points are very important in this area, because one of the worst area of the electric vehicles is that you need to charge it, and you need time. You need time to charge the car, and this is not easy for the people. And electric car is fantastic, but it has some pains that we need to solve and we need to improve.
Okay, interesting. We'll get back to that in a minute. Ernesto, tell us more about what you do. You being more in the sort of distributed layer of vehicles.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, I'm Ernesto Mateo. I'm the head of Voltio. Voltio is the car sharing of Mutua Madrileña. Mutua Madrileña is the leading non-life insurance in Spain. And when we think what need to change, in the world there are 1.5 billion cars. And our cities, our infrastructure was not prepared to cope with such a number of vehicles and traffic. Moreover, these cars are most of the time unused. If we take someone of outer space looking at us, looking, for example, at the Madrid area, at any moment, he will see about 200,000 vehicles moving. and 3.8 million vehicles standing around, taking a very valuable public space. And this situation is not intelligent, it's not sustainable. So we think we need less vehicles, we need smaller vehicles, we need zero-emission vehicles, because that provokes many other problems, environmental problems that we will discuss. And we need shared vehicles. So that's the point why a car sharing was thought, and that's why Mutua Madrileña decided to launch it.
Okay, interesting. So what I suggest we do, guys, we start from the infrastructure layer with you, Victor, and then we'll get into the resources and how they should be shared and optimized for, basically. And then we ended up with the last layer, which is software, running the entire system for this to work. So Victor, back to your point, you talked about, more charging stations, quicker. What does that mean? What is the future like,
Yes, when we speak about electric mobility and electric cars, the first people that buy an electric car is because they have a home and they have a charger in his home. And this is incredible. To have a parking station in your home, it can be a home or it can be a flat, but you have a charging station. And this is incredible because you need to waste time in the petrol station, you have all the days the car chargers, and this is interesting. But if all the people wants to have an electric car, all the people don't have a parking in his home. And there are companies, there are a lot of things, and we need to have a charging station not only in our home. If the people has a home, it's perfect, but we need to have charging station in our worker area. We need to have fast charging station, because yes, people want to charge the car as fast as they charge in the petrol station. And the technology is done. We only need time, and we need the people be trusting electric vehicles, because in the future, you can charge a car in 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and you can do a lot of kilometers. And this is the future, and the future is now. But people must to trust in the electric vehicle, because if people don't buy electric vehicles here in Spain, we can develop. So people invest in fast charging stations if people use it. If not, nobody invests in charging stations.
Okay, very clear.
If you let me, I would like to jump in and think a couple of things there on the charging stations. It's exactly like what he's explained. When you have a charging station at your own home, that's a very good thing to do. You just arrive home and plug the car and go to do your home things. But for instance, in the USA, they have done a survey, and they found that like 30% of the white local native people, 33 actually, prefer electric cars instead of petrol ones, while the Asian American or Latinos are more than 50% on that. So they want to purchase a car, but they don't have a place to charge it, because they live in communities in which it's much more difficult they don't have the money to purchase a charging station. They don't own their own houses. So what is that? There are a bunch of people trying to enter the market, but they don't have the charging stations to do so, because they don't own not even own the houses. So there is a thing to solve there. At the same time, these communities areas are much more polluted than the other ones. So there is an imbalance that only can be solved through government intervention or investment. Governments have to invest, because what they invest in charging stations, they save on health, because governments or state covers health support or health services. So either they invest there or they invest in the charging stations. But this is a need for electric vehicles, no?
That's an interesting point, and I'd love you guys to react on this, because it's very rare on a panel that you hear a CEO of a startup asking for more government intervention, right? Rather than less government intervention. So
As
it is part of the
the-
it is part of the solution somehow. But I'd love to see how you guys work with government, if you do, and how do you see the future on this end? Because yes, there's definitely a political and social element to it.
Just one thing, I said investment, no intervention. Investment.
Okay, investment, just the money. We just take the money.
I don't want to speak about government.
In our case, if we think what need the car sharing to develop, to be more popular, to scale, let's think why Madrid is a reference city in car sharing use. In Europe, the largest car sharing city is Berlin. Berlin has about 10,000 car sharing vehicles. Madrid has 3,000 with a similar population. But we don't find in Spain and in many other countries other city like Madrid. That means in Spain there is no free floating car sharing in any other city. And that's why Madrid make really create the ecosystem that allows this car sharing free floating work. Only by leaving the car sharing cars have free parking off-street solutions.
So that's facilitated by government, basically.
That exactly. I often been asked why we do not develop the car sharing service in other cities in Spain, for example. And that's why there is a regulation that make us impossible to operate. So from the government, what we need is really to create this ecosystem that allows companies to create new services that allows people to have better mobility solutions.
Okay, so more funding, you said, Antonio, more like facilitating initiatives. Is there anything you guys see that government could help with?
What I tried to say is that we are the entrepreneurs, we create new things, but we live in a world in which the state is there. So many times you need them to follow us. They will not lead this kind of incentive things, but they need to lead the path that has to be taken. If you let me, I would like to spend a couple of minutes, what I mean is saying how do we solve this without adding vehicles. Our company, I told you before, is a technology company. We deliver in Latin America. We are delivering from Mexico to Argentina in 7 countries. But we do that without adding new vehicles. What we do is we have algorithms that solve the e-commerce problem. The e-commerce, I say problem, which is this. As we speak, in these few minutes that we met, people are purchasing online. Each and every purchase, and now again, and each and every purchase is a problem to be solved. It's a package that has to be taken from point A to point B. How do you do that? Traditionally, you have the seller, you have the wholesaler, the retailer, and the whole logistics way. But many times, maybe we live like a block from each other, we don't know each other, and we are purchasing at the same time. So what we offer are, we have a managed marketplace. We have, as I told you, algorithms that, on the one hand, has the businesses, and they are the idle drivers, and we connect them through technology. So, like, depending on the area and on the size of the amount of packages, like each 30 minutes or hour, 2 hours, depending on that, we create bunches of delivers, of packages to be delivered, and we offer them to the drivers that are in the same area. Just to finish, if a van starts a day with 100 packages, like by noon, it has like 50 of that, and then it goes to emptiness. All that idleness can be tackled. We are using all the empty spaces in real time, and movers, the people using the technology, update their app, and they see how new packages are on the road. So as they deliver from point A to point B, there is another point close to that, and they are picking and delivering in real time. Without that kind of logic, you don't need additional cars, because you are using all the empty spaces. If you think about that, most of the car is always empty. It's ourselves in the car, all the rest of the space is empty. all the logistics companies start full and then get empty. There is a bunch of empty spaces out there. So the more robust is the network, the less are the carbon emissions. That's the way we tackle that.
But that's very interesting because there's sort of the software, optimization of this, and there's kind of a hardware, and then we'll get back to the infrastructure. Back to the hardware on your end, Ernesto. So you said 4 million cars in Madrid, only 5% of them are driving at one given time. What's your view? Right? How many cars, if the free floating, if tomorrow everyone adopts free floating, how many cars should there be free floating in Madrid, for instance?
Yeah, when we think why do we have such a mobility system, we love, of course, privacy, we love ownership, we love to have our own car. In my generation, it was a sign of becoming adult to have your first car. I think, I'm sure things are changing now. For the new generations, what they ask is, they ask to the cities where they will live. They ask for a cleaning way to commute, to move. They ask for better quality, better life quality. So this, I think this is a change that will be happening. And as I said before, we need less cars, and we need more sustainable cars, and we need more shared cars. Technology is the key to help us on this. In one, I will only few figures of Voltio. In 1.5 years, we have get 120,000 customers. We have made over 800,000 trips that are about 6.2 million kilometers, and that have we have lower carbon dioxide emissions in 1,100 tons. That means this is only happening when you mix the technology, the hardware of the car, all the data we get from the car, with all the data we have from the customers, and we try to offer them the car where they need to have the car. So it's very interesting what you are saying, because at the end it's always some technology working for that, on the hardware side to operate the car, but also with all the data to make this offer affordable or disposable for the customer.
Okay. And so, Victor, to your point, if we reduce the number of cars, which we all believe in, that's the point, ultimately, less consumption, less production, less waste at the end when you drop the cars, does it mean less charging stations, and what's the impact for you as a business?
Yeah, this is a good question. Okay, I think the mobility are challenges. People, as I said, my partner Ernesto, people of my age and his age wants to have a car and wants to have a motorbike and wants to have but people now wants to mobility to move, no? And now wants the car as a services, no? No, he don't want the. And this is that if we go to electric mobility, we need charging points. The cars of Voltio need to be charged. Okay, and I think this is a new business that is going to improve. I'm sure this is not an IC business. This is not an IC business, but I think that this will be together. Okay, charging stations, car sharing, electric mobility. I don't think this will be a problem. Okay.
Okay, interesting.
I would like to add one more thing regarding exactly what you were saying about less vehicles, and you're saying we were invested by Toyota, Japan, the biggest seller car in the world for 3 years in a row. I have to ask them. I said, thanks, but why are you investing in a logistics company in Latin America? And they say, we know that in the future we will be selling less and less cars year after year. So that's a good thing, because the huge, big car company knows that they will be selling less, which is the logic below their investment, that we, through technology like bottoms up, connect with all that vehicles. So they think that we are a very good alternative for them to reach that fleets, but they know that they will be selling less.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
And less vehicles does not say less trips or less kilometers. I mean, it's more efficient, it's more clever. 95% of the fleet standing up, occupying public spaces, it's not clever.
That's not a good thing, I agree. Look, it was a very interesting chat. Maybe before I sum it up, is there anything else you guys want to add on where the future lies in terms of mobility that we haven't touched about today?
Anyone of?
Okay, as I said in the beginning, I think the electric mobility will be the future. It's a clean mobility, it's cheaper, it's more efficiency. But we need that Madrid is a very good city because it's the 50% of sales electric cars and electric vehicles from all Spain. But we need more, okay? We need more investment for the people, more trusting, more developing for manufacture of electric charging station, electric vehicles, buses, electric, okay, and things like that. And I think all be together to have a clean planet, no? A better planet, a cleaner planet.
I would like to add that the changing, we are changing. The population in the world will live more and more in urban spaces, in cities. Yeah. So when we think about an electric car and we say it does have the autonomy, we have to see that the mobility will be it will be a urban mobility. Not very long trips. So I think this is a perspective that maybe, because when I want to get an electric vehicle, I said, okay, but I cannot make 1,000 kilometers with it. But normally you don't need that. So that's a point that also...
Okay. Antonio, last thing?
As a last thing, when I started thinking about this company that now grew a lot and now we're launching here, I was stuck in my car. This was the very, very beginning of that. I was going to a meeting in Buenos Aires, and we were stuck, all of us were stuck in the car. So I started thinking, if the cars that doesn't separate one from the other, we will be very short to the distance, because all the rest was cars, empty ones. So I started thinking, what about all this idleness? How to take leverage on that? So as a reflection, all the empty things that we have, all the idleness, all the waste is what we have to focus. Right? In this industry in which we are, smart cities, mobility, or in any other, we are wasting too much more than we need to do. That will be my final reflection.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. Before we give a big round of applause, I would like to thank you, because it was great to spend that moment with you and get your insights on a topic which is really defining the future. Maybe a couple of points I want to make. So you guys understood clearly that optimization is the key, right? Optimization of fleet, optimization of point of charge, optimization of load as well. How do you make transportation as a whole way more optimized? As we know, we've all heard of AI and machine learning and all these big words. Optimization is data and is tech, right? So I think we are an amazing group of people who can solve the problem with the backup of government, as we said today. So I suppose that a lot of Europeans are going to vote very soon. Let's push it for more things.
Ben! Thank you, Ernesto, Victor, Antonio. Give them a big applause.